It's the bus stop, swerving into what's hot. Coming live, Shady Sports, yeah, we got it on live. Sports and music, yeah, let's get into it. Do it like no other, do it. Blueprint for consuming the team that's never losing. Coming live from Colorado, like shit and follow. Shady Sports, the motto, fresher than avocado. Play by play and ball for ball, we coming to you from afar. Day to day and call for call, we talk about it all.
Yeah, this the bus stop, talking sports and hip hop. Jump on the bandwagon, cause we talking what's hot. 8303, Denver, what's happening? We got sports action, come take a ride with us if you DJ and a rapping. No capping, staying linked in, bringing sports and rap news, stats news, and talking Denver's who's who. And we ain't hard to find, we on Shady Sports Network like all the time. Gemini and Static got the ball, it's time to grind. It's the show you won't wanna miss, not one line. And ain't damn not a show bringing what we bringing. So go ahead and tune in, man, we just hanging at the bus stop.
Shady Sports, 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 Shady Sports.
Shady Sports, Shady Sports, Shady Sports, and true bandwagon fashion here over at the bus stop. I try to keep up with what's going on. We try to keep up with what's going on. So we're bringing you basketball as we're switching and transitioning over from football towards the NBA, moving into the basketball season. And with our second episode of Hoop Philosophy, we got Reem and the boys. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to them and get right into it, guys.
All right. Welcome back for those who are back here. Okay, today we're gonna talk about Trae Young. I think that's probably the topic of the month for sure. Is what's going on in Atlanta. I will start off with this, right? With Trae Young, if you've been following basketball for quite some time, or at least like moderately, maybe you're a box score guy. You know, for quite some time, Trae Young and the Hawks have not been awesome. They've been right at 500, like they're like the Steelers of the NBA, if you will, always at 500. And of course, this is a little bit different than the New York silencer Trae Young. And of course, as we're kind of seeing this officially end here, I want to kind of talk about today, how did we get here? Of course, we had the murmurs of, from summer to summer, year to year, oh, we're going to move Trae Young, to it actually happening right now. And you would think with Jalen Johnson playing as good as he's playing, that this would be a year, if any, to have Trae Young be a permanent piece or a long-term piece. Trading him now seems a little bit odd, especially what they got in return, which is a bag of chips and a fake. I'm kidding. All jokes aside. CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert, and these are expiring deals, no less. And I love CJ McCollum. He's great, but like no picks, not a second round, not even cash considerations. Like I've seen NBA trades where they traded at least the printer. You know what I mean? So we got CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. How did we get here? Let's talk about it. So I guess we'll start here as far as like, do you guys, and I'm going to kind of ask Kilo here, do you remember that conference finals run? What was so special about it when it comes to Trae Young in general? Oh, you're big muted, brother.
That's so embarrassing. Oh man, are we talking about the ice tray celebration? Are we talking?
Of course.
We talking closing down the garden? I mean, there's so many aspects of it that feel memorable. But ice tray is always going to be hated in the garden for a reason, and I think that. I think that run in particular, man, is just. I think the hardest part about it is the New York Knicks kind of felt like they were ready for something more. And here comes this young fella, not even 5 years into the league, and he's shutting everything down. He's disrespectful. He's doing everything in a Trae Young like fashion.
Right. My question kind of becomes, what do you think was so What was it clicking then and not clicking now? Like, what? How did we get to this point where, you know, again, mind you, and for those who don't remember, that Trae Young finals was so dastardly in New York, right? It literally set the table for Cat getting there. He beat them so bad that they had to make trades, my guy. Like roster reconstruction bad, you know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
what was working so much then and why isn't that working now?
I think when you have a playmaker that caliber who can get as many assists as he does, you kind of need players that can do something once they catch the ball. Shooters, rollers, lob threats, things of any variety of that nature. And when you have players who are kind of better with the ball in their hands, you just take away a lot of that value that Trae Young supposedly brings.
Okay, what kind of person now really would fit a Trey Young player, like in an efficiency standpoint? Like, what does that look like?
I think ideally you're wanting a player that is going to shoot as close to 40% as possible on multiple attempts, close to five preferably. Um, you're going to be looking at a roller, someone that can come up with the ball and kind of help Trey Young set the pace for what they might do in that half court set. Of course, your traditional off ball movers, people who will have that kind of gravity that kind of force the defense to make on the fly adjustments.
Right, right. And I think they did have that in 2022, but I'll let you speak. Bro, I look like you're about to say something.
Oh no, no, no. I agree. I agree.
I kind of want to ask this question, right? It's especially kind of picking back off of that, right? Roth, you're a GM, right? You're the GM of the Hawks. You know what I'm saying? You got Trey Young. Like ideally, and this is why I want to start with this, because trust me, we're going somewhere. I'll just start with this. You got Trey Young. What pieces realistically, right, are you wanting around this Trey Young style of point guard? Like he can shoot, he can great playmaker, not the best defender, right? So what does the rest of that starting five need to look like?
Uh, I think it needs to look like a lot what it did look like. Like your primary partner with a point guard like Trey Young. This is tough. Uh, your primary partner is definitely like a big role threat. You want a guy who can catch lobs, um, and is fast enough to move at the pace that Trey Young wants to move. Just like this, you see, like you have a center like introducing himself into this play. You're absolutely gonna need that center to be mobile. So that's first thing. I think like on his wings, you need shooters. Overly tough. Nutmeg at the highest level is crazy. But but on his wings, you need guys that like just are hitting their shots for sure. Guys that get back on defense when he does that. Um, uh,
Continue.
and at your four, you probably need another lob threat so that the offense doesn't get stagnant. But you want that one to be able to shoot as well, so that you can space the floor for your primary roller. But that's what I'm looking for, and they had a whole lot of that in that conference finals run. So
They did, and let's actually dissect that, right? And you can see it in these clips, right? The majority, even in this one right here, no one else is in this play. No one's in the way. It's just Trey, right? It's Trey and there's Clint Capella. No one else is in the way, right? Even in this scenario, no one else is in the paint, right? Because everybody else can either catch and shoot, right? You got two people who are transition on defense, right? And the other one's ready to lob, so he's typically in the corner. But with that much spacing, it's hard to really know what to do there, right? Because you got all of the defense kind of in one spot there. And
Mhm.
now I feel like we've deviated from this. And I'm glad you used these clips because in the majority of these highlights, right, the the floor is not congested at all. Like it's either empty or we got a one pick and roll going. Like it's not congested. Bro's low key giving us free NBA. But yeah, it's not congested, and I think that's kind of where the problem stems from. Is that now we've kind of strayed away from having that lob threat, that stretch, in those 2, 3 and Ds, and now you got guys that are in the way, right? You got if anyone here has played one game of 2K Rec, you know what I'm talking about here.
That
Okay.
kind of crazy.
The moment you get past the 3 ball line, you got somebody cutting, somebody in your way. And I think that's kind of what created this issue with the formula here. And this is not absolute cinema. This is not I don't think I'm Bill Nye the Science Guy to say that Trae Young needs space. But I think straying away from that, and especially with changing the personnel and the coaching, I think is a huge issue. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Definitely, definitely. There's been a lot of personnel changes, and team has gotten younger, and with that, the team has gotten rawer. These guys are not as polished um, at fitting in the Trey system, and it was looking a lot like they could do a non-Trey system. So
I think when you're dealing with that play shot archetype, because he's not a dunker, like he's not Anthony Edwards, his bag's not that deep. He's like Tyrese Halliburton. I love Tyrese Halliburton, and of course, and if there's 10 seconds left, he's the scariest person on the planet. But as far as like we're talking about bag deepness, like don't get me wrong, if we're talking about shooting, bag deep, Trae Young's not is not Kyrie with the layup. He's not Anthony Edwards, right? He's not doing any of that, right? He's a play shot. And what does a play shot need? Yeah, I want to ask that question. What's the play shot's best friend?
A finisher.
The answer was paint beast, but that's good too.
Uh,
But yes, he needs a freaking paint beast, okay? A paint beast. Hello, Bentley. So I think in the scenario of having this formula has proven to work. We've seen it work in the past, but I think with let's talk about the personnel to Ross' point here. Let's talk about that 2023 year, right? We end up getting DeJounte Murray that year, right? Obviously, that didn't work out. Okay, I am new. Oh, got you. Shout out, single digits. Anyways, we're gonna move on. Like I said, so we so we got DeJounte Murray, and I kind of want to challenge you guys. And why didn't DeJounte Murray work next to Trae Young?
in my opinion, there's a lot of reasons in particular. We're talking DeJounte coming off a high horse, close to all stardom in terms of numbers. He's ready to integrate himself and show himself he can also be the guy next to someone. The issue is Trey Young didn't need that. Trey Young needed assistance on the defensive end. He needed somebody to pick up moments when he's off the floor. This wasn't an ecosystem for cohesion. This was an ecosystem to further Trey Young, and that just didn't happen the way it should have. The best way I could say it.
I agree, and I think when you have players that overlap, right? And Rod, you can speak to this point. My question is this: if I'm Trey Young, I feel like I'm the best scorer, and Dejounte's not off ball. I wish we could roll a clip of him not being on ball because he's not great off ball. Why would I pass it to Dejounte?
so,
Where is he at? How,
well,
I'm gonna say this. I'm just curious. Again, not to mention 2K free promo, but again, This is that classic 2K rec scenario. You go down, you're dribbling, you get collapsed on, you pass it out, and Buddy's at half court. So in that situation, I think personnel wise, that's part of the problem with Trae. Also, the other issue, or with this Hawks team, I think the other issue for sure would be the amount of injuries and as well John Collins. I think we should talk about that. Do y'all remember the John Collins situation in the Hawks?
Do you remember a time when the world believed that John Collins was going to be the next Anthony Davis?
I do. I'm not going to talk about it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes, sir. I mean, the numbers were impressive. We're talking a guy averaging close to 22 points, 10 rebounds, shooting almost 40% from three. Defensively, there's left to be desired, but it's getting there. Um, and then injuries.
Tons of them. And the problem here, right, with John Collins is that he stops playing a role. And in the words of Ra, which I'll let you talk about, the importance of team identity, especially in regards to this. When you got a guy that doesn't want to do the thing that has been working for him, it creates a problem. So Ra, I'll let you talk about, like, because you were talking to me earlier about team identity and having people do specific things and why that's important. So I'll let you continue.
Yeah. So, in a lot of situations, you have some different types of team constructions, and when you have very specifically like your team construction is that Trae is a player who's maximized his value in mostly being able to play make, and then he's able to hit shots all across the floor. So basically, you can't leave him too wide open. But the fact that you can't leave him too wide open means whatever else is going on, he can make the pass there. Now, when he makes that pass there, the defense is going to be late, but the defense is going to collapse and reset. So if you can't take that pass and turn it into the shot that he's giving you, then you're basically useless in the system. DeJounte Murray, two guard coming to the rec with an 83 3 ball. It's your turn, my turn. It's your turn, my turn. Because when Trae passes that ball, then it's not no matter what's going on, I'm finna shoot it. It's like, okay, now it's my turn. And, running different bigs. John Collins is perfect because it's like wherever Trae is, wherever the pass comes from, wherever the pass goes to, if John Collins catches the pass, it's up. It's either a lob, it's a three, doesn't matter. It's green. But when you deviate from that and trying to get different players, or as that player wanting to do something else, John Collins as a ISO scorer, John Collins as a playmaker, he's not getting as open as he can off ball, and it's just less efficient when you have Trae as the PG because Trae's value isn't elsewhere. So you doing that, Trae's not gonna come back on the other end and bring the reciprocal value to you trying to take that role. That's just how it goes.
And to add on to that, right, you also had John Collins upset because it's still during that time period where John Collins had a wonderful year in 2022, right? And so 2023, he wants to be the guy. And to your point about your turn, my turn, that's already bad enough by itself with DeJounte Murray. You know who else wants high ISO possessions? John Collins. John Collins is, again, love 2K, is that big in 2K. He catches the board. We're running the break. Pass the ball. John Collins, nah, this is me, gang. Why not let it fly? Like, John Collins kills me, okay? Want to take it coast to coast. Now, I think one of the things, to your point, is when Trae Young gives you the ball, that's usually your cue that this is you. Unless the play tells you otherwise. That's you only got to really think right then and there. You know what I mean? It's not your turn, my turn. I don't got to do more. Like Trae Young hit me, I'm open. Like, you know what I mean? Like Jason Kidd type stuff. Like, oh crap, I can make this layup. And that's what made John Collins so deadly is because he was a decent shooter, right? He can lob the ball. Of course, he wanted paint post touches, but at that point, the issue with John Collins being the four, wanting post touches, what we're going to do with Clint Capella. And furthermore, you know who else they have? Onyeka Okongwu. Is he a shooter?
That's it.
Yeah, not at that time.
Not at all. So now, of course, having duplicates of players is not bad, but you know, we're at this situation where this roster is a little bit funky right now. And you kind of mentioned this, Raw, a little bit earlier about the timing of the Hawks' moves, of being too late or too early. And I was curious to see if you wanted to speak on that again.
Uh, in letting people go and letting certain people go because you feel like they have or they feel like they have worked worked to try to make something work and it's not working, and so it's just time to move on in one way or another. The Hawks just seem to have a history in the last five around 5 years of it just being like at just the wrong time, like one bad year, 2 bad years, but maybe if it's 2 bad years, they're explainable. You know, Trey, this might be Trey's second bad year, but we're talking about Trey next to Dyson Daniels, who is just not there shooting wise yet, and Trey next to an injured roster. Like everybody's injured. Everybody's injured. So um it's just it's just all the way, you know, like you just have to pick and choose when you're actually going to give somebody another chance. And the criteria of like when they want to do that, it just doesn't seem to work out for them. And that's with everybody.
I agree. And like I said, it's just a bad timing ordeal. You know what I mean?
I want to ask you guys a question in regards to DeJounte Murray here.
Right.
And the trades revolving around DeJounte Murray before and after, how do you feel the Hawks managed that situation in terms of a grade?
I don't think the Hawks really did great in general on any of these moves, man.
Getting Dyson Daniels has to be a B. It has to be at least a B.
Now, okay, let's talk about that, right? Dyson Daniels by himself. Does Dyson Daniels fit the? Because we mentioned this earlier, right? Lob threat, 3 and D, Trae. Is Dyson Daniels a lob threat?
He's got the. All he had to do was develop the three. He could have fit as a wing. Of course, that's gonna take like 2 more years. That's why I just say that's timing. But best perimeter defender in the league, like that's an automatic B. Like
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. But what?
no
Do
matter
y'all,
what.
do y'all know what Dyson is shooting this year for three?
Hey,
Unfortunately.
hey,
For
hey,
the folks in the back, do y'all know how much Dyson
hey.
Daniels shooting for three this year?
Hands up, don't shoot.
I honestly like he's keep like and I say this with love is a little bit of a joke, but he's keeping those Windows companies careers going, bro. That thing might be flinging somewhere, gang. Somebody's going home with a ball. Somebody's
That's
going home with a ball.
crazy. That's crazy.
Do you not like Dyson Daniels?
They just can't shoot.
That's insane. That's
I was like, he's really making. He's worth the price of admission, gang. Like that thing is flying, man. It's like, whew. I've never seen the sun shine like this.
I'm with Raw on the acquisition of Dyson Daniels. It is close to a B plus, in my opinion.
Has to be. Has to be. Has
I
to be.
say that because you got rid of Trae Young,
Mhm.
and now you still got Dyson Daniels, and he still has crazy upside.
Yeah.
Okay, but check
The
this out as
Wizards
well.
become a contender next year? That's a good question. Will the
Next
Wizards
year,
be a contender next year?
hmm,
I would
hmm,
say we're jumping ahead. We're jumping
hmm.
ahead, but that's a good question. Mile high. Oh, that's Cedric. That was someone else. Yes. I don't think they're going to be a contender next year. No, but
Next thing, no.
no. But I do think they have the formula we talked about. Right. We got
Mhm,
Trey Young at the helm.
mhm,
We got 2, 3, and we have more than 2, 3, and D guys on that team. 3-ish and D-ish guys on that team, right? So we got, you know, we
Hold on.
got Trey Johnson, right? We got Bilal Coulibaly. We got AJ Johnson, right? So like, Bilal Coulibaly is the best 3-and-D prospect in that. But Trey and AJ can definitely fit that three. They all can shoot to a certain degree. Okay, so we have that stretch lob in Kai
mhm,
Sean. Kai Sean shooting 40%. He absolutely can catch a lob, can throw it down. And then we got Alex Sarr, who is a glass cleaner, right? He is a lob threat. And even better, he's a floor stretcher.
And I
He's a
think
floor.
that might even unlock the ability to run 3 and D, but add to like Dejounte Murray tendencies because like those kind of players that do want to get their buckets inside, but they also want that like clean look to the rim because they're not more of like a floater archetype kind of scorer inside. They don't like the big like they don't like the slowish inside bigs. Like that's like a Jaw or Russ. Like it might get them the space at the top of the key for the screen, but like it's clogged if the big is sitting.
No, I agree. I agree. But all those guys have the ability to keep that floor spaced, keep it
mhm.
clean,
For
right?
sure.
And so that's kind of answering the question of the big question that we asked earlier. Why the Wizards? Well, it kind of makes sense. But my question for you guys is: do you think they'll develop in time with Trey? That's my question.
Well, I think a part of that question becomes, will this continue to be Trey Young's team, or does this ascend to Alex Sarr's team?
Nah,
That's a good question.
nah.
I
That's a
think
good
I
question.
think Sarr has the talent, man.
He's
That's
averaging
a
17 points.
Hey, we all start somewhere. He could blossom.
he's had an up trajectory from here, and I think right. Follow me here. We saw what Trey Young made John Collins.
But it was not John Collins' team though. Like, are we looking at Alex R post touches?
Listen, 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 listen. I'm not saying I'm not saying that Alex Sarr is going to take them to the promised land. I don't know. We don't know what the future holds. That man is still developing. He's he's got a far way to go before he hits his prime. But we're looking at a prime of Trae Young right now, and the most it's gotten is the Eastern Conference Finals at coming on to the age of 27. I just I think looking towards Alex Sarr as the future would be better for the Wizards long term.
But I still stand on my point that Trey Young is going to make Alex Sarr better. And to Cedric's point earlier today, we were talking in the chat, and he was like, "Oh, Trey Young's knock off Steph Curry." No, no, he's honestly more of a Chris Paul. You know what I mean? Think about it. Think about it. Chris Paul, pe- undersized to a certain degree. Okay,
To
he's taller
to
than
some
most
degree.
people, huh?
Just bro, what?
Yeah, look, bro.
Steph is undersized to a certain
That's
degree.
crazy.
Cable TV Steph. No, he's honestly like he's power rate Chris Paul. He's power rate Chris Paul. He's Chris Paul without the defense. You know what I'm saying? They both are jump shooters. They both are playmakers. Steph Curry's not getting 10 assists this season. Steph, not that he can't, he just doesn't. But also, who's he gonna pass it to? Anyways, but yeah, he's not getting 10 assists a season. And mind you, last time I checked, that Warriors roster was better than this Hawks roster, and Trae's led the league in assists a few times. You know what I mean? Passing it to Clint Capella. We saw how that worked with James Harden. Passing to DeAndre Hunter. We see how that's working in Cleveland. You know, Boban Bogdanovic, gang. Bruno Fernando, gang. 10 assists a game. Bruno Fernando, Mike.
Let's not forget Lemon Pepper Lou.
Gallinari.
40% shooting, 40% from three, 40% from three.
So, but he has to have that playmaking mindset to make that work. You know what I'm saying? No BS. Like, all respects to Steph Curry, he's not playmaking like that. However, again, who has done that? Chris Paul. I remember that nasty Thunder team he was on with Shea before Shea, actually grew. Back when Shea was like 150 pounds. Back when Lou Dort was new. Okay. But we have Pokasevsky. Okay, I remember that. Remember Theo Maladone?
Diamond Pokasevsky.
Randoms. Like, no BS, man. So, yes. Oh, let's talk about that. Shady. The Hawks, and to pivot, right? And that's the problem with this Hawks team. Trae Young's not the problem. I don't think Trae Young is the issue. They're late. Like, they're late with doing everything. They're late on making correct choices, right? Letting go of John Collins, sure, but you let go of him too late. Like, you let go of him for pennies. Like DeAndre Hunter. We used to all think DeAndre Hunter was going to be elite. Not to say that he can't be. He's just. When's the last time y'all seen a DeAndre Hunter highlight on your Instagram?
I'm not even sure he's starting.
Name the last time you seen a DeAndre Hunter stat line. And again, right, you want to wait until all of the values evaporated and then trade them. And then with Trae Young, same thing. Like, imagine they did this in 2023, though. If you was going to get, and that's my statement, and I'll let y'all talk. If you was going to get rid of Trae Young anyways, why not do it when he has value? Why wait till he gives you an 8-point stinker? Jalen Johnson looks great. This is the fourth time he's had a on-air interview about him being upset. He's going back and forth with Patrick Beverly for no reason. I don't know why that happened. You know what I mean? Like, you're waiting until, like, my goodness gracious, he's bleeding out you're waiting until it's so stanky, the smell is hitting everybody's. Like, my girl knows about Trae Young, and she don't even like basketball. You're waiting until that point to say Trae Young. That's my point. I think they operate too late. At this point, you could have held on to him and made some trades around the roster, or let him go earlier. But thank you for coming to my talk. That's my point.
Will Corey Kispert be flipped after Trae Young trade?
Absolutely.
Wants to know.
Yes. Hey, Shady, do you want Corey Kispert?
In all seriousness, in my opinion, I think between the CJ and Corey aspect of this trade, the Hawks stand to gain more by keeping Kispert at this time. I think in the future, if he proves to continue to struggle shooting the distance, then they may look for other avenues. But currently, that roster struggles. Sorry. Currently, that roster struggles from three, and Corey is an immediate impact to that regard.
Yeah, I can't see that with like just getting the team to be able to run their sets in game. Having Pittsburgh out there will allow like no congestion versus like
Hmm.
Evan McCollum. You're gonna ask him to run the set.
Hmm.
I just think while we're in an apron heavy situation, because that's why you traded Trae away, Corey Kisper's making 13 million. Like you're gonna want a better option for double digit million. Now, if Corey Kisper's making 7 million, sure, absolutely. If he had a Tyus Jones on a Grizzlies contract, sure.
Hmm.
But like we're getting near mid-level exception territory. And I think at this point, with the roster as it currently constructed, I personally don't think that it's constructed well enough to win a chip at this point. And they're going to make some moves. And Corey Kisper absolutely will be a part of the Atlanta Hawks poo-poo platter. They're going to
Yeah.
throw him on there. He's going to be the Dalton Connect of
Hmm.
the Hawks,
Uh,
you know?
Yikes.
And he's going
13
to
into
be
a Giannis trade. 13 million into a Giannis trade.
absolutely they're going to use him for cap availability. You'd be goofy, no, for real. If Giannis says, I want to go to the Hawks, you're keeping Corey Kisper?
Yeah, I think in all reality, if a big name becomes available and their destination preference is Atlanta, Corey is going to be the first on the chopping block. But I don't think with the forward facing moves that they'll be making, it'll be to keep themselves young first and foremost, and Corey fits that at this time.
My question for y'all is, do y'all currently I already told you my opinion on this. Do y'all currently think the Hawks is playoff caliber team, like actually going to make and I even lower the expectations and say play in ready? If not, what do you think they need to do to really fill out the rest of this roster? Because obviously, yes, I know Jalen Johnson can get you 10 assists a game. Or not 10 assists a game. He can get you 10 assists in a game, but he's not Trae Young. So
He's getting you 8 though.
do you think Jalen Johnson's playmaking is enough?
To win a playing game. Sure, yeah, for sure.
Realistically speaking, what do you think the ceiling of this Hawks team is?
As in current construction,
Right now.
I think the league is on notice. I think it is going to be a scary couple of seasons because they better pray to the gods Almighty that San Antonio doesn't turn that pick into a lottery because that's where it's going to end up. Uh, uh, and to that point, I think playing is at their highest hope at this current time. Though Jalen Johnson has been great, and I think he will continue to be as much, they have a lot of issues surrounding that in order to sustain that long term. I mean, we're hoping Nikhil Alexander Walker is going to take them to the promised land, or were you hoping reshape was?
Let's talk about Rasashe. And this is my soapbox moment about Rasashe. I don't think they are correctly developing this player. Okay. Obviously, there's a giant hole when you don't have 2022, 2023, heck, even 2024 DeAndre Hunter, right? He was a very decent player. Could get you 40% from three, could play you some nasty-ish defense, right? Immediately getting Rasashe, moving off DeAndre Hunter, and then making Rasashe DeAndre Hunter is nasty work to me. What? You're
It is nasty.
making your number one pick and roll player?
That is nasty.
Like that's not sexy, man. That's not hot. So, and I think that's honestly curving his potential because you draft Versace for upside, and to Rod's point, how do you feel about them in not drafting Sar? Let's talk about that.
Man, we see what Trey wanted. We see
Facts.
what Trey wanted. And I think the point guard might know what kind of big he wants to play with. We see what Trey wanted. Versace, like he's got a ways to go. That archetype always has a ways to go. When you're like 6'8" to 6'10", to where you're not really a true center, you can't just get it because you're tall. But then you're not the most athletic guy. You can't just get it because you're the fastest guy, the highest jumper. You're coming in. Your jump shot still needs some work. You're not a 40% shooter off your first season. Like you have everything in the 70s category, and it's just going to take some years for that to develop. The way that they're running it, it's like we've seen last year Dyson Daniels running a lot of PG, where like he was getting his floater right, and then they said over the summer he was working on his midi. Like whatever they end up choosing to do will determine a lot for him. Uh, it's just one of those archetypes where it is hard to say because he's literally league average everything. Like he projects league average everything, league average height, league average weight, league average speed. So whatever niche he decides to carve for himself, like it's no one to say what he needs to do at this very moment. You know,
I do agree. He's like that jack of all trades build. He's that EV of NBA players. Like he can really be anything he wants. Don't look like that. That was a good analogy. Stop hating.
It was.
Uh, but he can really do anything. But you're right. Like he doesn't. You're he's not VJ Edgecombe above the rim. You know what I mean? Like he's not Con Nipple from the three. You know what I mean? He's not locked down. He's just cool. Like I'm not mad at it. Like you feel me? Like he's like White Castle. McDonald's is it's all right. He can do.
that's crazy, game. That's crazy, dude. Easy.
He's cool. He's cool, bro.
You said
Your
White Castle?
Toyota, your Nissan, bro. He's like it's an Altima, bro.
That's crazy, gang.
I'm not eating that White Castle. I don't know.
Bro's a nice car. Like Altima, you feel me? You got the touchscreen.
Yeah.
But back to your point, it's developmentally though. He could have been better. He should be better. But there shouldn't mind you, Jalen Johnson's also 6'8". But he got that dog in him. Like if you did an X-ray on Jalen Johnson, you will see the face of a pug. Like he got that dog in him.
Mhm.
But Rashawn is like that first stretch.
Mhm.
Woo. Cause and I wanna take this time to pick on Raw here. We had that in an NBA draft league, fantasy league, and this man had Versace on his roster.
Rough times last year. Rough times.
Bro was averaging 6 fantasy points in the NBA, gang.
Rough times.
Oh, gang.
I just thought the whole team was so clear. Like, let them cook. I didn't have.
No, he wasn't. There was nothing in that pot, gang. And that's kind of to wrap it back around, right? And that's where I'm confused about the future of this Hawks team. The upside of Versace is great. Is he going to reach it though? Because think about it, we have Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, and Versace.
Hey, no Congo.
And they're all 6'8", 6'9".
You got a bunch of guys that can run point forward. It's tough to develop, but if you can develop it, everybody can cook.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's like,
It's
will
tough to develop
everybody
it.
cook?
It's very ambitious. It's very ambitious.
It
Well,
is.
I mean, Now's the time to be it. I mean, if they, let's say hypothetically speaking, they decided to figure it all out next year, what do they have to worry about on the top end of things? OKC, the Spurs. I'd be terrified if I'm a bunch of 6'8" guys that don't know what they're doing yet. So it's you might as well figure it out now.
That's true.
Honestly, it's them and the Raptors. They're having a 6-8 off.
They are.
You know, how many 6-8s can we get?
6'8" PG,
So
6'8" center.
no BS, like real deal. YouTube builds like
Parker runs.
so. My thing is this: I don't really know where the Hawks are going to go in the future. Now I want to ask you two: if you're the GM, this is your Hawks team. What moves would you make to make this team more cohesive in general?
Whew.
I will move with Trae.
You move with Trae?
That's just me.
The
That's just me.
play-in.
What's next for Hawk? For sure.
Either
Look,
the
bro,
play-in or they suck and they're gonna get like Cam Boozer.
that's the thing.
If
That's
they
the
get
thing.
Cam Boozer, that's going to San Antonio, buddy.
Both teams' path to contention is this year's pick. Both the Hawks and the Wizards, their path is whatever comes of this year's pick. If this year's pick busts, redo it all over again. If this year's pick is good, and there's like maybe 10 great guys in this year's draft, it's like rock out, rock out. We can do whatever.
Personally, I think the Hawks' current game plan. They know they're sitting on the best pick available between the current Milwaukee Bucks and the current Pelicans. Um, they don't really care. I mean, what's next for the Hawks? Pray they get number one pick. I don't know. It's but if I were to answer your question, Reem, about what should they do next, get off Porzingis' contract.
Fair.
That's a stinker, to say
Yeah,
the
that's fair.
least. 3 games of poo poo patter, as you would
All for
say.
sure. All for sure.
Um, maybe in a world you could move both CJ and Kristaps. We just watched the Wizards barely be able to move off CJ, and they can't move off Middleton yet. I don't see a world where that's happening. Maybe Dame and CJ wants to be reunited back in Portland again. Who knows? Um,
For Ja.
ah,
For Ja.
Lord
Give him
knows.
Ja. Ja to the Hawks.
If you
Or
don't want to
Zingas
put
in
Ja in
McCollum for Ja.
Atlanta,
Or for
he's already got
Jaren.
enough in Memphis.
Or for Jaren.
Ja in
Come on now.
Atlanta?
Come on now. Come on now.
Jaren would be nice.
5 guys on the court that can average 5 boards.
Against Jokic. It's a wrap.
Look,
Well,
gang.
I got one time to match them against the Joker. Bro, the Joker's gonna have 30 boards that game, gang. 30 boards, bro. They're not going no, sir. No, sir. But Lord knows I'll take him over Deion. I'm sorry. Not to be a hater, but to be a hater. I'll still take him over Aiden. I'll take both CJ and Kristaps Porzingis over Aiden right now.
I'm
you see what I
provoked,
got on
Aiden.
today?
Right
You see what I got on
now.
today? I mean,
I'm
Right
provoked, Aiden.
now.
you see what I got
Get
on
him out
today?
of here.
I'm
Sorry.
provoked. I'm
You
provoked.
saw LeBron was looking at him on the bench.
Oh my god.
I'm provoked, Aiden.
Anyways, but yeah, so that's just where I'm at with the Hawks. I don't know really where I think, in my opinion, they definitely lost this trade. They definitely lost this trade. Like going back to you had an opportunity to get Luca. Like this is Hall of Fame bag sale work. We go from Luka Doncic to Trae Young to Corey Kispert and CJ not Portland CJ.
Hawks.
Like right now, CJ. Podcast CJ. Like Cedric playing basketball, CJ.
Nah, his podcast and our podcast. No, nah,
like
his
no,
podcast is
they're the
flying
same
like
height
that.
for real. Like Cedric with shoes on is CJ, bro.
Wow. That's a lot
Okay,
of
Get your
praise for
bag.
Cedric.
okay, okay. I'm not
Get your
running
bag.
threes. I'm not running threes with you two. I'm not running threes with you two.
I'm
Not
kidding.
doing
CJ's great. He's just old, and it's okay. He had his time. He was killing it. But just like, come on now. Come
No,
on,
that's
gang.
real. That's real.
Shout out Freaky Z.
I think a question I want to ask you, Reem, what would it take for the Atlanta Hawks to rectify the wrongs that they've made with the Trae Young era?
In what regard? Trying to win or like?
Just to get back to where they were in terms of contention status, being able to make the Eastern Conference Finals, being able to um, kind of no longer feel like pretenders.
Okay, so look. What's this? What's that? Is that CJ?
That's true.
That's Trae. But anyways, you kind of don't grow Trae on trees. You know what I mean? So that's a huge hit. You don't get a player like what we just saw. Like you don't get him next like tomorrow. Like you can hope Caden Boozer can do that for you, maybe. You know what I mean? I think you have a solid start with Dyson Daniels. I think, of course, Nikhil Alexander Walker is great. I think he is a starter caliber point guard. However, I don't know if you want him to start on your team. I think if you have him on your bench, you feel really good about it.
Yeah.
You feel really good about it. But if he absolutely can start, he is good. He's good. But if he's on your bench, you feel like that man. But so with Dyson Daniels, that's decent. Honestly, this team's future is really hinging upon Versace, in my opinion. Jalen Johnson's going to get better. It doesn't matter if Jalen Johnson is an 88 overall or a 95 overall. That team is still going to be hinging upon Versace because Jalen Johnson can't do it by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they're going to need we got to figure out what we're going to do with Okongwu. We got to do something. Like, we got to pray, make a dua. Like, we got to do something like figure him out. If we don't love him, move him and get a center. But they got pieces to get pieces. It's just not pieced together. And so it really depends upon how they're going to piece it together. But as it stands, nah, son.
Mm-hmm. And that brings up a great point that I want to ask you, Rob. In terms of what's available to your knowledge between the draft, between off-season acquisitions, what truly looks like the next best thing that Trae Young 2.0 or the step up that Rashache needs?
Like what additional players can the Hawks add?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To support him?
Mm-hmm.
Man. Honestly, man, like I'm gonna put that more to like a coaching style kind of thing because it's like you've got to run the right plays for him in my opinion right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to say like we're looking for the kind of guard that can unlock him, you would want, in my opinion, like somebody who can finish at the rim at a higher ability than Trae. And who's on the market for that? Again, that is Ja. But I understand. But you're definitely looking for like a guard that can slash. A lot of these new guys have the archetype that a lot of these like 21, 22-year-olds the ones that are on the Wizards, they have this archetype, and around the league, I don't know. Around the league, ready to go. Like a guard that can unlock a small forward is at such a high level. I can't imagine who's ready to give it up for what else the Hawks have. Like when you're just reducing when you're reducing things to just asset management. Of course there are people that are players, but like you consider Zachary such a high asset because you got him with the first. Then you consider Jalen Johnson such a high asset because he's almost averaging a triple double. And then Onyeka, you literally can't get rid of him because you have no other center. Dyson Daniels, your defense falls apart if you get rid of him. Like, who are you giving up to get somebody, and who? It's tough.
And I think you bring up a great point, and I think a potential band-aid solution, maybe even duct tape. It depends on what you think this player can progress into. I don't know how well versed you are on Darren Peterson coming into the draft here.
Like really slight.
It's like,
I know,
I'm sweating.
I know about him, but it's just saying. Firstly, Hawks are not historical, like draft savants.
No, but
So I'm not.
they could.
I don't want to say leave it to the Hawks to pick the guy to fix the team with
Hmm.
whatever pick they get. I just don't want to
Hmm.
say that.
Right.
If they could get him, that's a great idea. I see that. I see that vision. I see that vision for
Okay.
sure.
And I just think, I'll go ahead, Reem.
nah, I was thinking that in general, right? With the formula we mentioned earlier, and I kind of want to flip it to the Wizards scenario here and kind of let Ross speak on that. But and to that point, we just talked about where we think the Hawks is going to go, roster construction, what they currently have. I briefly touched on the Wizards earlier, but genuinely speaking, where do we think the Wizards is going to go at this point? And kind of talking about this the personnel that Trae Young needs, does it fit that? Will it find him success in time? What does this really look like trajectory wise for the Wizards?
Um, you guys ever, you guys ever play with puzzles as a kid, where
Yeah.
you got all your pieces together, you're trying to figure out, oh, does this corner piece fit here? That's what it feels like the Wizards are looking at right now. They're looking at a lot of big chunks that looks like it really fits really well together, but nothing's connecting yet. I think they're missing those glue guys.
I agree. Right. And for those who are not quite caught up with the formula that works with Trey bleeding play shot, having 2 3 and D guys and 2 lob threats. Obviously, this formula works. We've seen it work with many point guards in history, like for example the Pistons. You know what I'm saying? You look at the current Pistons. It's working for them to a certain degree, right? You got Jalen Duran and Isaiah Stewart, right? And then you got some 3AD guys. Then you use Halliburton, for example. He just ran to the finals with the same situation where we had a
Mhm.
lob threat, paint protector, we had a stretcher that can also catch and
Obi,
shoot.
Obi
We
Toppin,
had
Lob
we had
Stretch.
Obi Toppin. Then we had some 3 and D guys. I'm not gonna lie, like even Benedict Mather stepped it up on defense that run, right?
Hmm.
That's what made the difference for them. And you can see this historically. Even the '04 Pistons, that roster was not amazing, but if you think about it, Chauncey Billups, play shot, Ben Wallace, lob threat, Rashid, lob threat with some space. Then we got Rip Hamilton, 3 and D. Like, you know what I mean? Dude, Tayshaun Prince, 3 and D. We've seen this work. Isaiah Thomas, original Isaiah Thomas. Same ordeal. Bill Laimbeer, Joe Dumars. Like this formula works. When you have play shot point guards, right, they're not jumping up out the gym, they're not going above the rim. If you give them two lob threats and two 3-and-D guys, it works. We know this works, and that's kind of why I truly do believe it's on the Hawks as to why the success wasn't here, because this is a formula we've seen work time and time and time again. You know what I mean? And
Even
Trae
Luca,
Young,
even Luca with his Mavs run.
facts, facts, agree.
But actually, maybe like 3 out of 4 of the past finals appearances have been like this.
Hmm.
At least one team in each of them have been like that.
Hmm.
And that's my point, right? This is a tried and true formula that works, right? So yes, on paper it does look like why the Wizards. Yuck. Have you seen them? I get it. We had CJ and Middleton there. Q outstanding by the Gap Band. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, like Celtic Shaq. We've seen it. But now I think
Unprovoked.
but now I think the Trae Young fit on the Wizards makes more sense because it's fitting into that formula. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So with that being stated, do y'all think, like, I know you said there's pieces. Do you think the pieces have potential to fit it? Do you feel like Trae Young's very far off? Like, realistically, do you think this team is going to be a contender? If so, when?
I think we're looking at a timeline potentially as soon as 5 years from now. And I think that's being very modest. It could be a lot sooner.
I think it could be as early as 3.
Hmm.
I agree. I don't think this is a crazy trade. I do think it could be as early as 3. If they get like Cam Boozer or AJ,
Yeah.
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 so I don't think the landing spot's crazy. I do think it's absolutely on the Hawks as to why Trae Young was not successful, and as to why this trade ended up happening, and thus why they end up losing this trade. Now, is it over for the Hawks? No, but I do think this makes sense. My question now becomes: this is my last question for tonight. Do you guys think Trae Young will still be as impactful now and by the time this team is developed for what he needs them to do? Will he be ready for that development or will it be too late?
I definitely don't think it'll be too late. Um, he's not even 30 yet. We're seeing guards push it into their 30s, where guys who were once averaging 30 and 10 are still giving you like 22 and 8. So I definitely think that him being that 25 and 10 guy that we expect, like in a good situation, can definitely be like starting guard, maybe third or fourth option on a championship team, even when he's in his 30s. So I wouldn't be worried about the timeline. To your point about like the accountability of the organization, like these players are making millions of dollars, so it's easy to say like, oh, you should know this and this and this. But there's also like guys in the organization who they're not making millions of dollars, but they are getting paid to specifically know how to develop these guys, how to take care of these guys, and praise coming in. Like, I mean, we remember being 19, 20, 21. Like the mindset, you're a man, but you're not a man. Like it's not you're not at your fullness of maturity. Even into 25 or whatever, you're not into the fullness of your maturity. So it's like I see a lot of that as also the organization working towards building the team cultures for the Hawks and the Wizards as like a big, big thing. We're seeing so many teams where it's like the failure, you can't really say it's anything but the culture. The loss of the culture is just so huge.
Hmm.
My Grizz are suffering.
Always suffering. Our Grizz.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, I think you bring up a great point. Honestly, I think another way to put it Trae Young currently is averaging what, 19 and 8 or 7, close to that metric. Last year he averaged 24 and 10. I think even if we get a percentage of last year's numbers, maybe closer in between that of 22, 21, and 6 to 8, I think it's going to be more impactful because of what's surrounded by him rather than what we see today on the Hawks.
I agree, and I think that's probably one of the more underrated points is understanding the environment of what's happening. It's also the culture of what's happening, because again, these teams, in order to get a Trae Young, you're not great. In order to get a Jalen Johnson, you're also not great. You know what I mean? So in order to get Alex R, you're not great. So at this point, there's a lot of factors playing a role in what could happen. But I just wanted to shed the light on how we got here and where we all collectively think they're going to go from here. But that's all I got for you guys today. We appreciate you guys coming out and watching us tonight. And I'll let Cedric come back on and watch us, and not watch us, and talk us out here, man.
I was gonna let you do the outro. Nah, good show, guys. That was fun. I was talking to my sister-in-law about that trade, so I know that's a crazy move. I feel like the NBA always finds a way to make sure they're in headline news when you least expect it, with something wild and crazy like this. Good show, guys. That was fun. Thank you guys for joining tonight. Thank you guys for watching us tonight. Those of you that chimed in, you can catch Hoop Philosophy here on Shady Sports Network, along with other sports news, updates, and whatnot around the sports world. Without further ado, you guys got anything? That's everything you guys got?
That's everything for tonight. We got some more.
All right. Thanks, Kilo. Thanks, Ra. Thanks, Reem. Everybody else, thanks for joining in, and I hope you have a wonderful night. See you this Saturday for the bus stop.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.